Boom. Check.
Hell yeah.
How's that?
This is sick.
Dude, the audio part's my favorite. Like, you don't think about it until you kind of do some of the editing. Because the cameras are still picking up audio.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the audio on the cameras, and it's not even bad. But then when you splice it with the video, it's like...
Insanely clear.
I can't even...
I can hear it.
Now I see, like, other people's videos when they're doing them with, like, selfie sticks and all this other stuff. And I never even noticed it. I'm like, oh, it's a good video. But then when you see a really high-quality audio, high-quality video, I think people who don't do this, you don't know why that video is good. You just...
Yeah, you just like it.
You just like it. You don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you it's the video and it's the audio. So, yeah, for those of you that are doing your own videos, if you want to step it up and come on in here, we'll put out some stuff for you. So,
Absolutely.
So I got Travis Brown here coming in, good friend of mine. Wanted to put some things together that are not only real estate related, but, you know, tell us a little bit about what else you've been doing outside of the real estate game.
Yeah, so I've been working with Matt for about 4 years now. We've done countless deals together. Real estate is still like my bread and butter. It's still my number one. But recently, my buddy was doing a garage door repair for a larger company out here in the Austin area. And he was telling me a little bit about like what he was making, and he was making about 20% of like the net profit. And I was like, man, like the company's based out of Vegas. They're only generating leads, and they're giving you 20%. Like in the real estate world, if you're generating leads for your agents, you're getting 50%.
Mm-hmm.
But he was getting 20%. I was like, man, that's a little bit low. And as I, started the business and we learned there's a lot more cost that comes into like...
Nothing's ever that easy.
No, it's never that easy. And Matt has always been a testament to that. He's like, hey, if it's easy, be scared. Like, be worried because it's never going to be easy. And it hasn't. But we've learned a lot. And that's why I like trying new things and trying different businesses and niches out. But yeah, come to find out, there is a lot of hidden costs, and there's a reason why he was getting 20% because that's probably where the market really is and what's really fair. But yeah, we started a partnership, and I was generating leads from my dad's business. So my dad owns Bobby's Automotive out in Bastrop, and he scaled his business in the last like 10 to 12 years, strictly off word of mouth. And just like good name in the city, community, charity, like baseball, like friends, family, and he's built a really good business for himself. And I hit him up and I was like, Dad, we need to take your business like online a little bit, like no one, if they don't know you personally, they don't even know like you exist. So I opened him a Google My Business profile. Well, he already had a business profile, but he wasn't doing anything on it. No ads, no pictures, no updates, nothing like that. And he had 148 reviews. There's like one-star review from a customer that
There's always that one guy.
Oh my God! Like they wanted him to
please everybody.
They wanted him to go next door to this gas station and make sure his door was locked, so it didn't get like stolen into. And my dad's like general manager that works the front desk. He was like, dude, like we're not doing that. And,
right.
And the dude left him a nasty review and whatever. But he has 148 5-star reviews. He was crushing it. All like strictly word of mouth. But obviously this was like over a 10-year span. So I made him a Google My Business profile, started updating pictures and posting like updates, which are basically like Facebook post updates, and just like building his business profile up. And what that does is like Google's algorithm, it like ranks him higher. So when people type in mechanic shop near me, whatever, he's like kind of top of the list for Bastrop area. And a lot of like service-based businesses, they're ran by blue-collar guys and they don't really know this thing. So like when you hack into that, that niche and you bring a different like professionalism and marketing aspect to, a small town with blue-collar guys who are trying to run their, marketing and everything themselves, you really have like an advantage over the competition. So we got them ranked up there really, really high, really, really fast. We started running some ads and we just started at $30 a day. Dude, I looked at it's been 8 months. We looked at like the analytics, it's actually been like 5 months. We looked at the analytics yesterday. He spent $2,500. He's generated 318 calls from fucking Google.
Wow.
318 calls. And I was like, Dad, like, what is your average, like, ticket, like profit? He's like, probably 300 to 500. And he doesn't do all the, like, the KPIs and looking at all the, the metrics and stuff like that. He's very blue collar still.
Right.
But, he 318 calls, and if he's converting, he said out of 1,000 customers, he might have one that walks in and walks out when they hear price or whatever. Like literally he has like a 99.9% conversion rate.
Wow.
So if he has 318 calls, let's say that 300 of them walk into the business, and he gets the job
Even
done.
if half of them walk into the business.
Yeah, if half of them, but like like he really is converting at such a high level, and my dad has run such a successful business for so long. It's just like, damn, like I envy that. Like, in running this business, I'm like, we get walked, a good 20%, and you're telling me
Yeah.
1 out of 1,000. I'm like, damn, and I'm sure that might be a little bit, inflated, but yeah, he told me he was getting. Or so like say 300 people and his average ticket is just on the low end, like $300 profit. We brought in 90 grand on a $2,500 market spend. And he's really turned his business to the next level. Like he's killing it right now.
That's
Like
awesome.
honestly, like on the side, like you've sold my dad houses, all his
Yeah.
financials.
Yeah.
Dude, this year he's on pace to make like 700K.
That's amazing.
And in the past, you've probably seen at 300K and stuff like that, but he's really turned it up. So I was helping him through this, and I was like, damn, like you're getting leads for like $8, And I was like, man, like I could do this too. So I contacted my buddy in the garage door business, and I was like, hey man, like I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna build you a website. I'm gonna build you a Google My Business profile. I'm gonna find the marketing avenues. I'm gonna read the books. I'm gonna get mentored. I'm gonna do all the things, and I'm gonna apply it to your business. And so he continued working for this business for a while till we started gaining some traction. And we got him to Google My Business profile. Granted, we're spending $45 a lead, not $8, because we just started being in business. We don't have the brand awareness and everything like that, which will come. But starts off slow, more money up front and things like that. And it's really been doing well. But I was like, hey man, let's join this partnership. We'll get you at 40% instead of 20%. And then this will be your business. You can grow it. You can pour your heart into it, because when a business is your own, you just have a different mindset.
Yeah.
When he was working for the other company, he wasn't helping them. For instance, early on when we first started, I would go onto the jobs with him because I wanted to learn. My dad always told me, he's like, you need to know the full scope of the business before you start a business.
Right.
And I was like, yes, sir. Like, you got it, And so I went, I would go learn like how to do the jobs. That way I could talk about it and talk to customers, and I knew what I was talking about. And we had a customer and needed a spring, and when there's a spring broken on a garage door, can't open the damn door.
Oh yeah.
Like it's
I
like
made that mistake once.
yeah, it's like
That's
300
right.
pounds, and you're trying to deadlift it, and not only are you deadlifting, you're having an overhead press.
Right.
And you work out with me, you know how hard that is.
Yeah.
So you're not overhead pressing like 300 pounds. It's really difficult, and that spring is the muscle of the garage door. So without that thing, you're kind of screwed. Well, this lady, it was trash day. She calls us at 8 a.m. We got out there at 9. And she needed her trash, and trash usually runs around 9:30. We muscled the door up. Both of us together can usually get a garage door up. I ran her trash to the road, and trash came by while we were still working.
Mm-hmm.
She was just so thankful.
Right.
She was like, dude, like I didn't miss trash day. My trash cans were overflowing. She was like, thank you guys so much. But that's something, for example, that he wouldn't have done, or we wouldn't have done, if we're working for somebody else.
Right.
Because there's no pride there. You don't care if they call again or if they refer their neighbor. You don't care. But like the other day he went on a call, and he's big into motorcycles and stuff, and someone was trying to sell their bike, and he's like, hey man, I know a few people in the market, and I've sold multiple bikes on Facebook Marketplace. Wouldn't mind helping you. And it's little things like that are building us like a very strong foundation.
Right.
That in the early time, you're going to put on some extra work. You're going to add some extra work to your plate, but the lasting impression of you, and like, we're not just a garage door service. Like we are a resource for everything, and that's the same way I run my business, my real estate business. It's like, hey, you need carpets redone? Hey, I got a guy that will come in here and do a room for like $300.
Right.
And it's like just full service, just help people any way you can. And really what I try to focus on is it's a relationship business.
Mm-hmm.
The money for this one transaction is a byproduct, I don't really look at it like that. I look at it like, look, if I do you a good job and I help you, I might help you make money on general contracting your next house, or like, resourcing you out to maybe a wonderful lender, and my friend might make some money. And when we all make money together, I have my, my guy that does my repairs, I have my lender, I have my title company, I have myself. We're all making money. My client saves money. We're all coming up together as a team, where we're building this like community where we're all lifting each other up. and we're all like generating referral business together. And it's just like a very, like the relationships is so much more important than the one transaction. And that goes for garage doors, mechanic shops as with my dad, lenders, or real estate agents. Like it's just so much bigger than just the one transaction.
Well, it's been a common theme with the people who have been coming in here is, I've been saying this. This will probably be the fourth time I've said this in 2 weeks, where at the end of the day, we want our clients to have a good experience, right? That's what everybody says.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we've identified is that you can have, a good lender, a good real estate agent, a good contractor, and clients can have a good experience. But if those people that I just listed have all worked together before,
Oh yeah.
have relationships together, know each other,
Hmm.
that's the way that you can create a great experience for your client, because there's no confusion in who's doing what, and where the expectations are, because you know who you're working with. And the line I always use, I've said this, to a lot of people with Gold Star. I mean, that's the company I work for. Love it. And one of the things I've said is the only thing better than making money is making money with your friends.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's so
And,
fun.
and a lot of people that, they're business partners, but they've become friends.
Mhm.
And so just that experience alone is just, it's great for the people who are a part of it, especially the clients.
Absolutely. And like we have a deal going on right now where Matt offered to pay for the survey. Like we almost lost the deal because, the buyer was stubborn and he was already stretched thin. And like the deal might have not got through. And granted, this is something I normally would have done. I've given over $100,000 of commissions over the course of my 4-year career in real estate. Just making deals work, making people happy. Like obviously, I want to get paid, but like usually it's the best thing for the client. After hearing their motivation and what they need to sell this house, and we might have it under contract for $10,000 over market. And I'm like, dude, we're not going to let this deal fall for you for a $400 survey.
Right.
There's just no way.
Mhm.
And yeah, it helps us too, but like I am still like honoring you to the best of my ability to help you, because I know I look at these comps every day. I look at the numbers every day. You just know, you feel like you could get more, but like you're not seeing the numbers every day. You don't see the market. You don't see the rates. You don't see the average days on market. So if we can make something happen, make something shake for $400 or $500, by all means. And working with a lender or someone, like if this was a third party lender, there's no way that would have been possible.
No.
Like there's just,
No.
they're not doing it, you know?
Right.
So it's very good to have those friends and those relationships to where you can bounce off each other and you can, pick each other up.
Right.
And so it's been really beneficial, and, partnerships and relationships overall else every time.
Well, and that's a common theme, and I like that, we touched on it, but one of the things that you were talking about that I want to kind of bring back into the fold is some of the stuff that you were mentioning as far as getting online, doing the marketing, actually marketing a business, because I can't tell you how many people I sit down with that are business owners. I always say real estate agents, if you don't know it, you're self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many
Yeah.
business owners are fantastic at their job. They care about relationships. They care about, the clients, of course, but they have the most difficult time. Some of them refuse to admit it, but they have the most difficult time finding new business.
Absolutely.
And so it's kind of nice to have you in here, because that's one of the things I always touch on is like you kind of started to tap into it a little bit, ways that you can market a company. Because
Mhm.
what I love that you're doing is that, you're taking what you've learned from marketing your dad's business, you're utilizing it to market your, garage door business. And then I know from, personal experience, you've basically done the same thing to market your real estate business.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't necessarily, there's nuances from business type to business type,
Absolutely.
but the like ground floor blueprint sounds the same.
It's all the same. Every business is the same, man. Like you provide a very good service, top notch, obviously, and that's what most real estate agents are good at.
Right.
But you have to be able to put money into your business, invest in your business, invest in your brand, and a lot of times you lose money in the early on, and people don't want to.
Or time. I
Yeah.
mean, doing something like this.
Well,
I
it's
get
funny.
it.
You've told me, yeah, you told me that real estate agents are scared to invest in their business, but they'll go start, a food truck, and they'll like get like a $20,000-$30,000 loan and start
Right.
it up. But it's like, dude, you're not doing the same for your business. Like, do you not trust in your abilities that when you do get these leads, because you will, if you do the right things and you listen to the right people and you read the right books or you have the right mentors, you will get the business. All you have to do is close it, and you will get the ROI.
You know what I think it is? I think there's, and I don't understand this, but there's some sort of shame that is associated in the real estate business, if you're getting business by any other means than like, oh, it's all referral.
Yeah.
It's all referral. Like there's this badge of honor in the real estate community where like, you know, oh, all my business is referral based. Like, okay, that's great. Like, congratulations, if that's true or not. But I would argue that, what do you mean to tell me? Like, you're not doing closing gifts?
Uh-huh.
You're not sending out any kind of mailers to, you know, farm your, you know, current community that you're either going after or live in. You're not doing client appreciations. You're not sending birthday cards. You're not sending holiday gifts. You're not putting in time to boost up your social media. I mean, because time is money, right? You're not doing, and so like for people to say to me like, oh, my business is referral based. I don't know any successful agent that isn't doing all of the things, or at least a number of things that I just made mention of. And then what's crazy about it is that they brag about it. Like there is a flex in the real estate community to say like, oh yeah, I don't do anything, like the business just comes to me.
Yeah.
And it just drives me crazy because here I'm trying to basically say to real estate agents, hey, it's factual data that the industry in general is down about 60%. And yes, there are some outliers that are doing just as good, maybe a little bit better than they were, but they're few and far between. So with that being said, it's like, how are we going to increase your business, right? And it's interesting to me because there's agents that are like, I don't want to do social media. I don't want to be in front of a camera. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And I'm trying to encourage people to come on. And this is a way. It's like, hey, you know, all we're asking for is your time.
Well, I'll be honest, man. Like the barrier to entry to get your real estate license is pretty low.
Yeah.
So you have people, you know, working, you know, their normal jobs, which is great. And shoot, sometimes I wish I had a normal job. You know, like for real, like 9 to 5 sounds good sometimes.
Yeah.
Because there's been months where, or like times where I didn't have any money coming in for 3 to 4 months. And, you know, like this last winter, I was remodeling a house. I wasn't, you know, doing all the things for my business, but I didn't have any deals from like November to February. And it was like really freaking hard, you know? I thought I was doing good. And, you know, it's like, hey, that money goes really quick when it's not coming in. And at that time, I was like, man, I kind of wish I had, you know, consistent income. So I'm not shitting on people that have 9 to 5s at all. Like there's something for everyone. And like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. Being a real estate agent is not for the faint of heart. It is a full-blown business. Like regardless if you want to think about it or not. And a lot of times people are like, hey, you're doing well, you know, like you're doing good. Like I envy your flexibility and stuff. It's like, dude, like I don't step away from my phone. I can't just go paddleboarding on a Tuesday afternoon because I am scared that I'm going to miss a deal or that someone is going to need something emergency from me. Like I don't have that like flexibility. And that's my own problem with like not being able to manage and things like that. Like I am glued to my phone from literally the time I get up at 6:30 to the time I go to bed at literally 10:30. Like I work, like I might not be working, but in my mind, I am working. Like I never am chilling and it sucks, you know? And like, that's my own problem. And that's something I'm currently working on, but I can never, you know, have a client that he gets mad at me if I don't answer the phone one time. And I'm like, dude, I have other clients. I have a life. You're like, I'm sorry. But a lot of people
times are a little tougher now than normal. I mean, we're dealing, you know, I think with all of the uncertainty with interest rates, the housing market, everything along those lines. I mean, clients, you know, from my experience, you're dealing with a different type of individual now just because the stakes are a lot higher and there's just a lot more anxiety and stress. And
Absolutely.
So it's across the board.
And we'll get into this in a minute, but yeah, interest rates are like the biggest fear in the history of the world, you know, for people, even though we're still below, I think probably below the national average for the last, 30, 40 years.
We're close, but
right, right around it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, dude, these are average rates.
Yeah,
And like,
pretty
they're
much.
going to probably come down and you're going to get a good deal on a house and refinance, but we'll get into that in a minute. But what I wanted to get into was like, a lot of people see me and do my business, but they don't see like, you know, like my mind, like they don't see my at-home life with like, you know, my girl and things like that where I'm not able to turn it off and stuff like that. So like they don't see all that. My girl does. And she's always, you know, complaining about it. Like, you never just put me first. It's like, dude, my clients come first. My business come first. Like, I know, like, I'm working on it, yada, yada. But anyways, what I want to get into was the barrier to entry is so low. And like, people come to me, they're like, hey, I think I want to get my real estate license. And I'm like,
why?
Sure? Are you sure? Are you for sure?
There's some right and wrong answers.
Dude, I mean, I'm like, do you know, like, and I know these people personally and like from, you know, past, and I'm like, I don't think you want to do that.
Right.
Like, I really don't think you want to do that.
It's a grind.
It is, it's hard. It's really hard. And like, I think 85% of agents don't renew their license. Like,
Something like that.
and I'm like, dude, let me save you the
It's
headache.
the majority.
Let me save you the headache because you're not going to get a deal for the first year, maybe one or two. You're going to lose money. You're going to be stressed. It's going to suck. And I just don't know if you have, the reserves or the time or the energy, or you might have like a newborn child. Like, you might not be able to give him everything he needs, things like that. And I'm like, hey, like, let's think about that. Let me tell you what all goes into it, because it's not as simple as getting your license and doing all your friends and your family. It's like, believe it or not, your friends and family probably won't even use you.
Yeah.
Like, you only had your license for a year or two, and I don't blame them, because what if you miss one thing on a contract that ends up costing them 15 grand? Or, like, it's so high stakes. Like, in the first year or two, I didn't trust myself leading these grown men, like, I'm 22 years old, and I don't trust myself to lead these people through $1 million transaction. Like, I didn't trust myself. Like, why don't you go work with this dude that's been in the business for 20 years?
Right.
But now,
Find like a mentor and
yeah, like, now I'm in the point in my career, like, all right, dude, I've seen it all. I have the best team around me. There's no one that can do my job better. Like, for what they're gonna get, the value they're gonna get, like, everybody wants fast, cheap, and quick.
yeah.
And
Well, fast is quick. So
fast, cheap,
and
and
quality.
and
quality.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
fast, cheap, and good. That's
Yep.
my bad. So everybody wants it fast, cheap, and good, and it's the same thing with garage doors. And it's like, okay, if I'm doing it fast and good, it's probably not going to be cheap, because I probably have a system. I probably pay extra employees to delegate out work. I probably, you can't keep it all. And the reason why I go to Fil A is because I think they have it down the best.
Okay.
Like, I think they are the most quality for the price and the quickest. Like, how many people are they getting in and out quick and happy every time? Level of service and the systems just have to be on point. I couldn't imagine the training that goes behind it, because, like, even the location of the straw and, like, where the sandwich is on top of the fry, like, it's just packaged perfect every single time, and the level of standard is so high that, like, it's really hard. I can't believe they're able to, like, keep their prices as low as they are and get people to work for them the way they do. But, like, if you do,
I met one of the owners.
yeah,
Yeah, he like
Tell me
spoke
about
at a
it.
convention that I was at.
I know
and
they're,
kinda
like, very
covered-
Christian based, which
They
I
like
love.
covered a lot of things that you're talking about, though, and it was just funny to me because like every 15 minutes, and he's like, "And we're just selling chicken."
Dude, and they sell it so well,
Right.
And they've just really mastered it, and I really envy that business, and I want all my businesses to work in harmony that way. But that just takes systems, training, like, accountability, goals, like the whole 9 yards. Like, you cannot run a successful business that way and not be pouring your all into it. So I don't know these guys, but, like, I know the product, and I'm like,
I saw
wow.
him at a convention. I mean,
Okay.
it wasn't like I like hung out and had
Right.
beers with them, but I saw him speak at a pretty large convention. It was cool.
Yeah,
It was good.
I just love them, like, and they'll always have my business, because you can look at McDonald's, like, yeah, they're fast and they're cheap, but, the quality, I mean, it might not even
Right.
be real meat, like, you don't know. But, like, with Chick-fil-A, I feel like it's probably going to be the real shit. Like,
Right.
like, I don't even have to think about it. I just know, like, the way they run their business and, like, things like that. But usually a business is going to suffer in one of the areas, and with garage doors, like, we try to be as cheap as possible. We're looking at the numbers, we're looking at the profits and stuff, and people are still like, it's too high. And it's like, dude, it cost me $45 to get the lead. Like, my average
Sure.
cost per lead is $45. It cost me $20 in gas to have my tech drive to the warehouse, go pick up the parts, drive to your place, throw away your trash, go pay to dump it. So, like, just call it $20. We're at $65.
Well, there's one
Uh,
thing that clients always want:
What's that?
more.
They want more every time. Like, you can never make them happy. And it's like, if y'all only understood.
Well, not never, but
yeah,
it-
exactly.
it's
Some clients, right?
right.
But if y'all really understood, like, I was naive. I thought, every time a contractor came over and they're fixing my AC and, they twisted a nut and they charged me $199, I was like, man, I got screwed.
Right.
It's like, dude, how much experience and time
Oh, yeah.
did they pour into that? And it's the same thing with real estate. Like, did you get paid for the 6 months it cost, or it took you to get your real estate license?
Right.
No, you didn't. So you are getting paid for that. You might go show a house and make 20 grand. But on the flip side, you might show this other guy 40 houses and him go sign, listing or, terminate the agreement, buyer's rep, and go with somebody else.
Yeah.
You didn't get paid for that. So yeah, you got the 20 grand here, but hey, that really just offsets for this over here. And clients don't see that. They're like, man, like, you just made 20 grand that easy. It's like, dude, I didn't get paid for training. No one paid for my license. Y'all didn't pay me for the first year that I didn't make any money.
Right.
And you didn't pay me for reading all the books that I've read.
Can you
and the
imagine if
podcasts.
we asked clients to pay us for all the things we do?
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
like up front.
It's like, don't worry about it. Let me put a blank shield over here and let me just take care of all the
Yeah.
bullshit for you. And it's like, that doesn't exist. So like, you do deserve that. And where was I going with that? Like, oh yeah. So like the $45, then the $20 for gas. And then, the springs, like say we're doing a spring job, we're selling it for $300. We're at $65. The springs cost $70. We're at $135. Hey, we pay our office assistant to do all our taxes, everything, 10% of the net profit. So, she's making, $17. So we're literally up like, and then me and my partner, we're splitting it. And, most businesses aren't partnerships, and I wouldn't always agree with doing a partnership unless you have a very like accountable relationship where you trust people all the way through and through. Because it's very hard to navigate with people, especially when you're 50-50. Like every decision you make has to be like decided together.
Oh yeah.
If you want one thing and I want the other, it's like, hey, we're at a stalemate. Like we can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just it's really tough to run a partnership, but we won't get into that. But we're at over $100 and we're making $300. We might have only made like $70, $80 a piece. And we have insurance. We have overhead, so many things.
It's a little surprising sometimes to me, the amount of people that are out there where like, I'm a big believer in the free market, right? In other words, that like the people who are doing good work are going to continue to
Absolutely.
do so.
Me too.
Price is going to be kind of dictated by the marketplace.
Absolutely.
But I'm always kind of shocked at the amount of people that are out there that are willing to allow businesses to lose money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cool with it. Yeah. They're almost proud of themselves for it. And especially when you're dealing with, a self-employed business owner,
Small
like we talked about, a
business.
real estate agent, even a lender, garage door company, where like I have had clients that would look me in the face and be like, I don't care if you're not making money on this job.
It's all
Like
about me.
that's your fault. You messed up. And like, it's amazing to me because here you've got self-employed business owners that are already in the business of potentially working for nothing, because that event, that happens from time to time because you take on all that risk. But then in addition to working for nothing, there's possibilities that we'll lose money. And, that's one thing I'm always mindful of. I had, short story, had an electrician come over to wire up a hot tub, and he got halfway through the job and he was like, man, listen, I'm going to lose money on this job. And I said, well, let's work it out. And I ended up paying him an extra $100.
You
like,
understand.
what's fair is fair, and he's like, yeah, accounting error on your part, like probably should have thought it through a little bit better. But, he was giving me a really fair price. And when it ended up, working out, it was like, it wasn't like I was being overcharged, but the amount of people that are like, haha, nana, boo boo.
I win.
Like,
it's just like,
yep.
it's like
It's
a you
kinda
versus
wild.
me, dude.
It's wild.
It's feast or famine out here, dude. Like it's a doggy dog world, and
Yep.
I'm finna eat. That's
Yeah. Guess
how
so.
these people feel, and it's just like, man, like we are like just.
Well, and if you don't lose money on it, not only is that going to be a problem for you, but I'm going to come after your business. I'm going to write you a 1-star review for not for not locking my car at the gas station for me.
And like we're trying to overthrow, we're not trying to overthrow, but we're just trying to get our piece of the pie and
Sure.
service these people. They can go use Rocket Mortgage. They can go use these big companies. And, if enough people do, treat you the way that is or treat me the way it is, you might just be working for a corporation with Zillow who is going to really take advantage of you, or working for, with Rocket Mortgage who isn't going to have your best interest in mind. What the price is, the price is.
Right.
If we delay closing, you lose your
there's
house and
nobody
earnest
else.
money. Who cares? But like, dude, the people like you and I, the small business owners that are, like hardworking and like stand for something good and aren't just after the money and just mean good and want to make the world a better place and stuff, like that is going to be our downfall, is like the people that don't respect it and don't appreciate what we're doing for them. And you know, it's a shame, man.
Well, and when, you know, what's really a shame is that by the time the client figures it all out, it's too late, right? And then they're calling you to fix the problem and
Yep.
everything like that. And it's like, man, we would have never been here. And of course, you know, you're going to jump in and handle it because that's just, you know, the right thing to do. But you're thinking the whole time, like, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told you. But hey,
And
you
I can
know,
only tell you so much before I come off as salesy and I'm in
Right.
it for myself.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's in your best interest, I promise, to use my lender. Like, you have not been in my shoes and seen how many deals fall through and how many unhappy and, you know, people there are when they don't just take, you know, that advice, you know. And sometimes it works out well and they do
Sure.
save their $600.
Right.
Sure. You know, but they didn't get a closing gift. They don't get a relationship out of it. They don't
Right.
get, you know, they don't get
No
anything.
one's calling them back and talking to them about, you know, looking at their situation, making sure
No
that their
one-
payments are working for them,
Making
you
sure
know,
they file their homestead
all of that. Yeah,
exemption.
yeah, there's a lot to
Make
it.
sure they're protesting their taxes. It's like, dude, like you have no idea how much it's worth to be in you and ours like
Care.
like pair. Like it's worth so much. It's almost priceless because like over the course of time, like we're gonna save you so much headaches, so much money, and it's like you might not see that all right now, and I cannot explain all that to you right now because then I'm just gonna come off as salesy and in it for myself. I don't make no money if you use math.
Well, I just did a rant that I'll be posting here probably at the end of the week where what I'm seeing right now is you've got a lot of people who are shopping more so than I've ever seen. But what's interesting to me is that you've got buyers that are, you know, on the surface of things, they're shopping for obviously the lowest rate and the lowest cost. But then what I'm starting to recognize is that they're continuing to shop because really what they're looking for is somebody to just tell them what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of to your point, like when I'm hearing things that, and it's twofold. Number one is with rate and cost. And then the other one is with like certain things that can be done with their file. Like, oh, well, they said I can buy a $700,000 home. And I'm like, no way. You've got bonus income. We don't have a track record of it. It's not going to happen. They go with the other lender. And all of a sudden, we're a week away from closing, and I'm getting a phone call like, hey, you know, can you figure this out because this other company says they can't do it now. But the point I'm trying to make is that I did a public service announcement to all of the real estate agents that I work with because when clients are doing all of this shopping, it's astonishing the amount of clients. And I get it. It's a daunting thing. You're calling all these lenders. And to be quite honest, in the grand scheme of things, most of them aren't honest up front.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying one thing and doing another. And that sucks. I mean, that is one of the things about my industry and a lot of industries that there's a lot of bad guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've been encouraging real estate agents to do is that when they have a client who's shopping, and all of our deals matter to us right now, not only for the client, but for our own business. It's like, listen, get with your buyer and say, look, whoever you decide to work with, and then furthermore, if you're deciding between a few companies, send me, real estate agent, your locked loan estimates, and let me review them. Y'all look at way more of them than they do. And you have no skin in the game outside of just wanting there to be a good transaction.
Yeah.
Because what I've been running into a lot of is when I'm like, hey, let me take a look at your numbers. Let me make sure that everything
Yeah,
you're
like
telling me
resistance.
is correct. It comes across as real salesy, right?
Yep.
And they're like, nah, I'm not going to send you that. You're just going to, I don't know what they think I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But it's a shame because the ones that do kind of go, yeah, sure, I'll show you exactly what I'm getting. And there, I would say 9 out of 10 times. I mean, I had a gentleman that I'm going to the closing to today at noon in literally an hour and 10 minutes that was working with a really big company that I won't name and ultimately said to him, hey, your closing costs are X. This is what we charge, right? And so the total closing costs on my end from lender fees, title fees, insurance, and taxes ended up being the same amount that this company said we charge. In other words, I'll just use round numbers. Total all-in cost with this other company was $30,000. Total all-in cost with us was $12 for the same thing. But the confusion was that the company was saying, here's what we charge. You know what I mean?
It's like a bait and switch
It's
thing.
not a we. It's like, well, we have this, but then there's taxes, title, blah, blah, blah. Ended up, when it all shook out, we were able to save him $12,000
Dude,
in
kudos to
closing
you.
costs, all because he let me look at his paperwork. And so, again, the scary part is I'd say 9 out of 10 buyers won't let me look at their paperwork.
Well, the problem is like some lenders are shady, and
Right.
like there's,
Well,
some
the
mechanics are
omission of
shady.
facts isn't a lie.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how these lenders hang their hat on it. It's like, what are the closing costs? Well, I've had lenders that say we don't have closing costs.
Because there's so
It's
many
like,
variables and numbers that you can
right.
play with. And that's what I always tell my clients is like, yeah, they might be giving you a 5%, but it's like a 5% loan. And it's like, hey, Matt borrows money from the same people that they're borrowing money from.
Right.
And their interest rate's 6.5 right now. Like, how's he doing this? And I send it over to Matt, or I talk to Matt about it. And they're like, oh, well, he's charging him 10 grand to buy it down. I could buy it down for 5 to get
Right.
it to that. And it's like, oh, like that makes sense. There's always something hidden there.
Well, it's like you saying I do free garage doors, but I charge $2 grand for labor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Garage doors free.
literally, it's not transparent. And in the lender world, there is just so much confusion, and people don't know what these numbers are.
Well, and that's why I want to get the real estate agents involved, because all you have on the line, let's face it, like you're not making any money on what lender an individual uses.
Can't.
So all you're basically doing is just looking over the paperwork for your buyers, because you have more experience, you have, the ability to kind of point a few things out. They trust you because you're not making any money on the deal. And I know a lot of real estate agents who have kind of alluded to the fact that I don't want to get involved in that. It's extra work, and I get it. I mean, we've already talked about it. As a real estate agent, you've already got enough on your plate, but if I was a real estate agent, I would definitely want to do something like this just to avoid the possibility that a week before closing, all of a sudden
It's
I'm like,
gone.
wait a minute, I'm bringing 40,000. I thought I was bringing 20,000. Like,
that
how did
deal
this
is-
change?
90% of the time, that deal's gone.
Right
you
now,
know?
well, and even if it closes because the buyers just kind of bend over, now they had a bad experience, and yeah, you can say, oh, it's not my fault, but you're a part of an experience on something that should be the most exciting purchase that anybody has in their lifetime. And now you're part of an experience
They'll
that the
never use you
buyers are
again.
like, man, we got totally burned by the lender. Like, Travis was great. Travis was awesome, but we just ended up paying way too much. That's not where you want to be.
No, it needs to be a win, like all the way across the board. Complete transparency. We're all working together. And I tell my clients, when they say, oh, Matt's trying to do this, it's like, dude, Matt's not trying to do anything. Matt is on our team.
Right.
Like, we're all working towards the same goal. You want to buy this house. I want to sell this house. Matt wants to sell you the loan.
I want to fund it. Yeah.
Like, however we have to get you there, I promise we're going to represent you in our best interest and your best interest to make this a win
Right.
for everybody, And that's how business should be, You call to get your garage door repair fixed and you can't get to work on time. We're out there in a jiffy. We're getting you fixed up. We charge you a fair price and you're out the door. It's a win.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, oh, you versus me. You're trying to charge me extra. It's like, no, I'm really not. My numbers are only based on like my cost. Like, if I could lower this freaking cost, trust me, I would.
Well, and you'd have to. I mean, think about it, because
There'd be someone
there's
else that
gonna
would be willing to do it. The
exactly,
market sets
exactly.
the price. And when I started the business, people were charging like $500-$600 for springs, and now I see why. Because honestly, we've done quite a bit in sales, and our profits aren't that crazy. And it's like, hey, I get it. Maybe we do need to go up in price, but we are offering such a full service. Like, they're going to get top-notch customer service. We're going to be out there faster and cheaper than anybody else, more personable. Someone that owns the business is actually going to be in front of them. That's going to care. We're going to help them sell their bikes or take out their trash on time. Like, it's just going to be a full-service win, the same way as if they were going to work with me in real estate or
Right.
you in lending. Like, it's just a full experience. It's a win. Hey, you're an electrician. I don't have an electrician on my team for real estate. Let me refer you business.
Yeah.
Like, how can I help you?
Well, that's what this whole podcast is about, man. It's about creating a community, getting people's, content out there and everything like that. And I mean, one of the things I wanted to touch on a little bit with you as far as garage doors are concerned, and truthfully, we've talked a little bit about it, but most people treat a garage door like a thing that, it's like,
Yeah.
if it breaks, then I fix it. But otherwise, like, what do I need to know about them? And, what are some of the things that you've run into as far as resale when it comes to garage doors, garage door openers, for example? I know there's insulation, there's this,
Yep.
there's that. I mean, why don't you tell me a little bit about that? And
I'm glad you brought this up. So, according to Remodeling Magazine, y'all can go look for yourself. Garage doors are 40% of your curb appeal. In like, Central Texas where garage doors are facing the front, generally it's 40% of your curb appeal. If you have a dented up garage door or it's like a different color than your front door or it doesn't match, that's a big eyesore. We like to say that it's like the smile of your home.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's put some veneers on that thing,
Right.
and it's honestly more affordable than you think. I mean, most 2-car garage doors, they start around like 1,500. If you want to get windows or anything like that, you might be looking at 1,800. But it's not like this big scary thing. And when you get the garage door, that all includes like new springs, new torsion tubes, everything nice and shiny, new rollers, new tracks, literally everything, except for the motor. Like when you pay that. And it's 40% of your curb appeal. It's the smile of your home, and it is the #1 ROI according to Remodeling Magazine for the last 4 years. That whatever money you invest in that garage door, you get about 103% back.
Wow.
So if you invest $1,800 in and this is at all right. So the average garage door that they were using in that stat was like $4,200. So if like 3% of that, I think is like $120. So they're looking at getting like $4,320 back, right? Not crazy, but if you have an issue or something, or if it's dented, like you're going to be getting a lot more than that. And all that to say is like some of these people are charging, $3,500 for the same thing that we're charging $1,800 for. So
Wow.
like talk to us, because if you're getting $1,800, but you're getting, you know, you're getting like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of value out of that thing, that's a good move.
No, it makes sense.
And especially when it's not like a negative thing, like if it's dented or an ugly color or something like that, like that's
Well,
going to
then
go
it's a
against.
no-brainer,
Yeah,
right?
it's like an absolute no brainer. So it's very, very important. And I do this with, all my clients and listings. I might throw in a garage door at a discounted price, whatever, if they listed a house, and just boost up that curb appeal. It's going to help it sell faster. It's going to make the house look better.
Let me ask you this. So, you kind of mentioned garage door, matching front door, and everything along those lines. I mean, do you have a company that has the ability to kind of, I know you do garage doors. You're not doing front doors, right?
No.
But you know somebody who does,
So
and can kind of match
my
that up.
contractor, he does everything. So he does paint and stuff, and we might even go just paint your garage door. Like if we think your garage door is in good condition, it has all the moving parts. I'm not going to sell you a new garage door.
Okay.
If we just need it to match, and look good with the siding and the front door, because really what I like to look for is I like I did it for my house. My garage door is in good shape, and I own a garage door company. I could have got it at cost, but I just painted it. And the trim on that, it's black with the trim on the outside white, and then my front door was green and it looked like crap. So I went and painted it black with the white thing, and it just, dude, like I had neighbors coming up to me like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah, paint
this is
it
awesome.
matters.
So
What about things like efficiency? I hear
yeah.
differences in terms of the weight of the door, what the door is made out of, all that kind of stuff.
So
What's that like?
honestly, installation, it's only going to cost you about $150 to $200 more. We don't upcharge for you getting installation. That's just going to increase your parts, right? We're going to charge our standard fee for installing the garage door. But if a normal garage door is going to cost you $1,500, then an insulated garage door is only going to cost you about $1,700. And what I try to tell our garage door clients is, if you plan on staying in this house for more than 1 year, it's beneficial to you to just go ahead and get installation.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is because it saves you on average about $187 a year in efficiency for having an insulated garage door.
Right.
So
So heat and
ROI,
cold.
if you stay there for a year, it might just make sense.
Yeah.
So I always, what I tell my techs to do when they're going into the house, find out their motivation, find out if they're just trying to get it ready to sell. Because if you're just trying to get it ready to sell, screw the installation.
Right.
Let's get you the cheapest option. Let's throw it up. Let's make it look good, and let's get this house sold. And if it's like a rental and it's a long-term rental, and maybe if the renters are paying the bill, bless you. If the renters are paying the bill, you might not want to pay the
Right.
extra $200. Defer it to them. They're not gonna go look at the house and be like, oh, this doesn't have insulation. The electricity is gonna be a little higher this year. They're not gonna do that. So we try to find out the motivation of the clients, just like we do in real estate. Find out their motivation, then that way you could serve them better.
Is there any type of garage door that you're seeing that is? I've been asking a lot of contractors this question, and it seems to be hitting home. Are there any types of garage doors that you're seeing that are popular that might be something that is like not best practices if you're
Yes.
like concerned about money or anything like that.
Dude, so I don't know if you researched these questions or what. I didn't prompt you to ask these, but these are really good questions. So everybody wants like especially like West Austin, where
Hmm.
typically the house prices are more and stuff like that. People have more money. Um, Everybody loves like real wood doors, like glass doors. But what they don't know is like those doors like weigh probably about 10 times more than like a standard like
Hmm.
sheet metal door. When you have a heavier door, you're gonna have a spring that's gonna wear faster. Your roller is gonna wear faster.
Right.
Everything's gonna wear faster, so the cost for maintaining is gonna be a lot more. Granted, if you have the money and you're not really concerned about it, it looks good. It's gonna help your house sell. But they have some great like alternative options with like faux wood doors. They have some that they paint
Right.
it and they look just like wood,
Okay.
and it's way cheaper. So the average like wood door or glass door is going to cost you anywhere from like 4 to 7 grand. Very very expensive.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's going to cost you like 1,500 to 2,000 for like a sheet metal door.
Right.
So I would always steer like if you're concerned about money and concerned about maintenance and stuff, probably just go with like the faux wood or like the sheet metal opposed to like glass door or wood doors because with anything that's heavier and you got a spring lifting it, it's gonna wear a lot faster. The roller's gonna wear a lot faster. Everything, the maintenance is just gonna be a lot more. You're gonna have to lubricate it more, and no one takes care of their garage door. Like people overlook it. It's like a tool. Like
Yeah.
um, if you could just have someone service it and look at it, like we offer $49 tune-ups and inspections. So we do a 14-point inspection. We lubricate the doors. We tell them everything. We grade everything, yellow or green, yellow, red. Green as in good, yellow as in like it's fair condition, or red it needs to be replaced. And we leave that with the homeowners, and that way, when your rollers do fail, even when we marked them as red, and they're working right now, but they're squeaking, and they have dents in them and stuff. You're probably gonna end up having to call us back and stuff. But we'll lubricate everything so the noise it was gonna be way down. Like you have a lot of squeaking and moving parts, the hinges, metal
Yeah.
on metal. We'll lubricate it, and we'll do it for $49 once a year. And literally once a year is all you need. We'll come in there, lubricate it. We'll get you the inspection. And yeah, like we're not really trying to like sell you anything. Like I tell my techs, like if it doesn't need to be sold, don't you dare sell it. Like
Right.
if I find out you're trying to sell something that doesn't need to be sold, like hey, that's subject to termination, dude. Like that's not what we're in business
Hmm.
for. It's like, hey, there probably is something on there that is going to be yellow or red.
Right.
And that's
But
just being fair. Like,
if
I'm
they
not
want to
trying
let
to
it
be
roll,
salesy. I'm not trying to be salesy, man. But like, your rollers are going out,
yeah.
And it's up to you. Like, it's going to put wear and tear on your motor. It's going to put wear and tear on your springs because it has extra friction. And it's up to you. Like, if you want to go ahead and get it done, we have a fair price that we've, developed over our costs. Like, and we'll get it taken care of for you. But we're not trying to sell you anything. And that's the hardest thing to do is with any business is just any sales business, real estate or hometown in my experience is just like getting over that hump that like we're not here to screw you over, dude.
Right.
We are literally here to service you and to help you.
I've never had anybody talk about like an inspection on garage doors, so it's kind of interesting to hear. And I mean,
So
for the cost, it sounds like a no-brainer.
and it's like once a year, and it's so preventative because you're gonna have an off-track door eventually if your rollers are messed up or your spring is not strong enough, and your door's gonna off track. And when it off tracks, it goes sideways, and you have panels rip, and then you got to replace the whole
yeah,
thing.
now the party's over.
Yeah, it's like all right, you could replace the whole thing for $1,500, or you're gonna replace the whole thing for at minimum $1,500 when you could have just paid $50 a year, for maybe say it took for 7 years. Paid $350, but on that seventh year, your garage door doesn't break, and it's like you paid $350 versus $1,500, and everything's working in harmony and together because there's so many moving parts when it comes to garage doors. And when I got into business, I didn't know a damn thing. I didn't know what that metal thing was on top. I didn't know. I thought